Hello, welcome in to Overtime Arkansas. I know you've been waiting, Aaron Weatherford especially. I know you're waiting, but we appreciate you joining us here on OTA. It's something to get these scores together, try to get everything going and just kind of going in the right direction. I'll tell you right now, you want to talk about mad respect for people that do this on every Friday night. Of course, they have teams that do it. Here we are, local yokels here doing it. We got Bill Harshaw up 1 foot from Missouri doing his thing, and us too, and that's about it.
Yeah.
That's about it. But we got a great team here at ASN, and we do appreciate everybody joining us here. We also thank the Sylvius Insurance Group, Jeffrey Hall, agent 501-920-7422, helping Arkansas farmers manage risk. We appreciate him for joining us and being a part of the sponsorship team here, making this possible. It's the last week of the regular season. It's over. Last week of regular season is over. It's just like that. And we have had another high school football season come and go. And about half the teams of the state will be in the basketball gym, some of them even as early as tomorrow, starting their basketball journey. And we'll be with that journey as well. But right now, we're all in on football, although we'll be in the basketball gym next week. But with that said, we want to encourage you to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We've got all kinds of talk to have today, and we'll see what happens. We've already got a comment over on YouTube saying about them Mansfield Red Tigers, butt up 80-8 on West Fork. They beat up. Yes, they did. They absolutely did. I heard at the volleyball tournament, which Mansfield won the 3A state volleyball tournament, that they were going to have to play their guys because they got the bye week and they wanted to stay sharp. And Mansfield is at the top of the bracket, getting the bye. So anyway, how about them Tigers? But we want to follow your comments. Make sure that you like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Heck, we've got a cash app at AR Sportsnet. If you like what we're doing, hey, we'll throw you a shout out. Listening. Any upsets? We'll find out here in just a moment. We've got scores from around the state that we're going to get to right now, starting in the 2A. We're going to be talking playoff scenarios as we always do. Jeffrey Hall, he's in there right now. Thanks, Mr. Hall, for being in. Little Rock Christian Academy over Pulaski Academy. I know they're fired up about that one. As you can see, Mount Ida over Mountain Pine 42-8. Junction City won 53-0. A lot of these games, especially the 2A, were last night. Lee comes up with a win over Izard County 18-12. Cross County finishes strong 60-32. I think that game wasn't quite as close as it even shows there. Carlisle 35-0 over Hazen. Pulling over Clarendon 28-8. We got a Gosnell West Side score, by the way,
Mm.
60-7. Gosnell, they're rolling. Lafayette County 26-12 over Foreman, and we got EPC 42-12 over Mark Tree. Let's move on to the next slide here. We've got the Dirks Outlaws falling to Gurdon 49-12. We do not have a Murfreesboro Mineral Springs score, which we need, by the way. If somebody can let us know in the chat. Make sure you're watching
Someone
it.
just did. Aaron Weatherford.
Aaron Weatherford, what's he
He was
got?
itching. He says 30-6 Mineral
Wow, Mineral
Springs.
comes in to the playoffs out of nowhere, man. That's wild. Sneaks in. We were at that Mineral Springs and Murfreesboro game a couple years back with conference title hopes on the line. We've got Mills Comets 21-14. Man, they're rolling in now. The scores are rolling in. Bearden beat England 50-14. We've got that new score there. We'll get that updated as we go. Um, let's stick with the ones that we've got on the screen right now. We've got Mountainburg winning over Johnson County Westside 56-28. Hector beat Magazine 52-20. We've got Hampton over Baptist Prep 48-34. And then, like I said, the England Bearden game was 50-14. Bearden over England. Not sure if this is an upset, but Stuttgart beat Hamburg. We were there at that one, Josh. We were at that one last night. We'll get to that score in just a moment. So we've got all kinds of implications, playoff implications right now. Appreciate you for staying with us here. Let's go to the 3A scoreboard right now. The Bismarck Lions continue to roll with a 57-0 victory over Horatio. Cutter Morningstar 53-37 over Jessieville. Salem 60-15 over Quitman. Salem going to be tough, tough to beat. Glen Rose, they beat Danville tonight 45-6. We don't have that score, I don't think. Let's look at Smackover putting 70 on the board, and there's some big, big scores out there. Smackover with 70 over Fout with 28. Harmony Grove, Washita County 62-0 over Parker's Chapel. Mayflower with a big victory over Atkins, and that one right there had a lot of implications on it, especially for just basically Atkins now doesn't get any home games in the playoffs, where Mayflower will. Atkins will travel to Prescott in the first round. That's going to be one heck of a matchup there. In fact, we've got D'Angelo Gilliard in there saying Prescott 40, Centerpoint 14. Paris over Two Rivers 56-20. They got back on the winning track. Rivercrest and Piggott, we don't have a score for them. Magnet Cove and Perryville, we don't have a score for them. We might in our ticker, so be watching for that. Melbourne won 48-21 over Mountain View, and we don't have Charleston Greenland score right now unless it's in the ticker. Let's look at our next slide here. We've got Prescott. We have that score there, 40-14. Then we've got Boonville big over Lavaca, 49-0. We don't have a Cedarville Hackett score. That McGee Fordyce score is not correct. McGee actually fell to Fordyce 20-14. Fordyce won the conference once again. Yellville Summit 49-16 over Episcopal. Yellville Summit broke a long losing streak tonight. I'm not sure exactly how many games, but they broke a huge losing streak with that victory. Newport beat Harrisburg tonight, 50-28. Newport goes in as the 2 out of the 3A2. Barton 46, Rison 36. I'm pretty sure that knocks Rison out of the playoffs. Glen Rose 45-6. We already said that. Lakeside 29-14. I don't know how all these tiebreakers work down in the 3A8. Maybe somebody can tell us in the comments. But Lakeside come on really good toward the end. Yes, Joshua, we got you. Bismarck did win. McGee or Fordyce 20, McGee 14. You see another big score on the board. Mansfield 80-8. We talked about that one already. And Daniel Brooke Wilson says 46. What does that mean? Is that anything like 67? Walnut Ridge 46?
Oh.
I gotcha. All right. Well, thank you. Walnut Ridge
Someone was
46.
feeding me scores and I got
Hoxie.
it wrong.
Well, sometimes you just get it wrong, or the scorebook live sometimes gets it wrong, or
They
what?
get close,
Right.
but no cigar.
Hackett won 38-9 over Cedarville, and Rivercrest beat Piggott 48-8, and that's an I believe, by the way.
Okay.
We've got Osceola over Manila 47-8. Let's move on to the next one.
The 4A.
4A. Stuttgart big, 52-41. You were able to see that on ASN last night. Um, that was a fun game. Nikel Lewis broke the touchdown record in the state with his 47th touchdown on the season. Now trying to figure out if he's going to break the record for yardage as well. I don't know exactly where he is on that. Maybe somebody can update us in the chat. Highland 27-21 over Pocahontas. Warren overcross at 66-34. Helena 50-7 over Star City. Pottsville with a big win over Dover 42-13. We do not have a Carroll County Super Bowl score. Maybe somebody could give us that. Heber Springs wins 54-6. Lincoln falls to Prairie Grove. That's another 80 on the board. 82-34. Oh, you got that?
Mm-hmm. If you
Uh,
want to
we
play it, we can.
we had a
I can talk
Gosnell.
about it.
Okay, yeah, we can do that here in just a moment. We've got the play that Nike Lewis breaks the record there. Let's see here. Guys on West Side was updated in the chat here. What was that? 60-7. Gosnell fell or beat West Side. We do not have Harmony Grove Bauxite score. Monticello 58-32 over DeWitt. Mills University 21-14 over Lone Oak, which that was a conference championship game there. Big win for Mills, and I see somebody saying unranked Mills wins. Folks, there's only 10 spots. That's all I can say. There's only 10 spots. Here's another thing I'll say. When you advance to the quarterfinals of the playoffs, there's 8 teams that's left, which means that 2 teams losing in the second round will be in the top 10 to finish the season there. So, with that being said, it is you gotta get in there. Gotta finish in the quarterfinals. Berryville won over Green Forest 42-15. Probably wrong post, but anyone have an Ozark Clinton score? Yes, we do. I think it's on this slide right here. If I'm not mistaken.
No, it's on the next one.
Next slide. That's the one we just went down there. So let's move on to the next one there. The next slide shows, as soon as I get it on my side, Nashville.
Ozark Clinton is 52-30.
Yep, Clinton won at Ozark,
Mm-hmm.
52-30. That's a big W there. That's a huge one. A lot riding on that game right there. Dardanelle finishes 10-0. Can Dardanelle finish the season as the number 1 team? In fact, that's how that works, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
I don't.
If you win the state championship, you're number 1.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I knew that
Right.
much.
And you, if you go to the state championship, you're usually number 2. Not always, not totally, but most of the time. And then if you're in the semifinals, you're 3 and 4. And then if you finish below that, it's 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we've got 9 and 10 somewhere in the second round. Joshua Barton, Bismarck won. Yes, sir. We know that. Dustin Ray Humphrey, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Arkadelphia 53-21 over Malvern. Lamar up on Waldron 42-14. We do not have a Forest City CAC score. Southside 47-14 over Blytheville. Southside gets that number 2 seed in the 4A3. Gravett 35-21 over Gentry. And Elkins 47-0 in the battle of Highway 74. 47-0 over Huntsville. So that's our 2A through 4A wrap up right there. Let's get Nikel Lewis's play in. If you don't know, last night again we were at Hamburg and CAC beat Forest City last night. Tonight. That's a big win, 28-26 there on.
Could we watch it right here? The record.
We're gonna play this clip.
Could it be the record setter
here? Let you hear
Nikel
Lewis.
Lewis
breaking
well, I hope so. That'd be fun.
46 touchdowns for Lewis right now. Can he set the record? We're about to find out. And off goes to Lewis. He's got to bounce outside. That's going to be it. That's the record.
Wow.
Nikel Lewis breaks the all-time state record for rushing touchdowns with his 47th touchdown on the year, and he brings the Lions within 1 point at 35-34.
That's spectacular. Wow.
What an unbelievable season that Nikel Lewis has had. One of the greatest seasons in Arkansas football history, and he just knocked out the record by Jalen Dupree.
Anyway,
there's a
Nikel
kick.
Lewis
It's up. It's good.
Breaking the record. It was an exciting time there at Hamburg. Great time at Hamburg. They were great people to us there at Hamburg. Is that the end of the? Make sure you're looping that.
It is.
Is looping?
Mm-hmm. I don't know what that is, but
that's the ticker.
Yeah, it says Mountainburg 56, JC Westside 28.
That's it?
That's
there we go. Yeah, there we go.
Well, I mean, there's more. I just think that's the end. He didn't have a full.
There we go.
For it,
I gotcha. All right. So Sylvan Hills over Catholic. We talked about that one. Let's talk about some playoff implications now. This is my favorite part of the deal here, and let's just talk about who is what and where and why. And I tell you what, Aaron Weatherford, you might be able to help us out here with some of the 2A. I know, or at least Southwest Arkansas, even you're all over those for sure.
If I'm not mistaken, Steve said that Pottsville is going to be the 4.
Pottsville is going to be the 4 now.
And that they're going to go play Blytheville.
Yes, that is exactly right. So there you go. There's one scenario right there that we've covered. Mount Ida the 1, Hector the 2, Conway Christian, I believe the 3. Did we get a score for that one? Was this
For which one?
Conway Christian and Bigelow actually played each other
Yeah, we
tonight?
got the Carson Ward sent that in to us.
Is it on the ticker there?
I'm not sure, but Bill was asking for it,
Yeah.
and we got it. I put it in, so wherever it is, it's in there.
Okay.
I could tell
Oh,
you.
I think you had it pulled up. It's 2A. Anyway, Conway Christian and Bigelow are going to round out that 2A1 there. And you got it on there. Is it? Okay,
Bigelow
Bigelow.
34,
Okay,
Conway
Bigelow
Christian
comes up
16.
big there. So Bigelow comes in at the 3 now in that conference, and Conway Christian will fall to the 4. Magazine fell out of the playoff picture tonight with a loss to Hector, and Mountainburg, who was playing well down the stretch. The losses to Magazine, the loss to Conway Christian were just tough for them. East Poinsett County comes out as the 1 in the 2A2, Cross County as the 2, Des Arc as the 3, and McCrory as the 4. And that was a lot riding on that game last night on the Arkansas Sports Network, as well as we did a double feature. Des Arc will now travel to Hector, and McCrory will get the 1 seed out of the 2A3. Is that right?
Something.
Well, I had it all written down here. Let me look. Get me a line here,
You never.
right? There's a lot to keep up with. Sometimes you just can't keep it all together, right?
We talked about that on the
Yeah.
Pottsville stream. How knowledgeable you are,
Well, I
just
appreciate that.
not just football, but like how many teams are there? Like
And
several hundred
oh yeah, there's
almost
almost
seems like.
200. There's almost 200.
And you have just about almost an intimate level knowledge on just about all of
Just
them.
about. I mean, we're immersed in this thing at this point.
I barely understand football myself. I mean, I'm not a
Okay, so
I
the
don't feel
third
like
out
I'm a
of the
stupid person,
1
but
and the second out of the 2 play each other. So Cross County will play Bigelow. Now Bigelow comes out of nowhere, and so Cross County will host Bigelow at that 3 spot, and then of course Conway Christian falls to that 4 spot, so they get to go all the way to EPC for that first round matchup there. Let's see here. Earl falls out of the playoff mix with the ineligible player. Mark Tree also fell out, which they weren't going to make it most likely anyway. Junction City wins the 2A3. Really didn't get touched down there. And then you've got Garden as the 2, Spring Hill as a 3, and Mineral Springs comes out of nowhere. Beats Murfreesboro and gets the 4, 30-6 win. And right now they've won, is it 4 in a row they've won? I know they're just like nobody was thinking about Mineral Springs whatsoever making it to the playoffs, and then all of a sudden they win 3 in a row and 4 of their last 5 games, and they end up in the playoffs. So after starting 0-5 on the season, so that's big. Let's see here. Aaron Weatherford's all over it, man. Bauxite will host Ozark in the first round. That's a good matchup. We got all kinds of talk in here. Junction will host Bearden. Carlisle will host Spring Hill. Gurdon will host Poen. And then who got to be the 5 seed in the 3A1? Well, let's go look at that. Let's look at the 3A1 real quick. Getting in here, 2A4, we had Hampton Carlisle tied at the top of the conference. Poen and Bearden leading the conference last week, and then Poen beats them, and then they fall all the way to the 4 seed. That's tough. The 5 seed in the 3A1, I believe, came down to Greenland and Lavaca. And let's see here, head to head,
I didn't get a Greenland score.
Greenland lost tonight 41-6 to Charleston. Greenland lost to Lavaca earlier in the season, so Lavaca is your 5 seed out of the 3A1 by virtue of a head-to-head victory. So there's that right there. So big time win there in early September there to get the playoff run, and so show them what they won, folks. What do the Lavaca Arrows win for uh, winning that game early in the season? They're the one out of the five. Let's see where they go.
They win a hot pretzel.
Let's see here. They are the 5 out of the 1. 5th out of the 1. 5th out of the 7. There we go. They get the first out of the 7, which is Bismarck. So congratulations, Lavaca, you get Bismarck. That's
Right.
that's a great draw right there. That's going to be fun. Um, looking at, go back here, go back to the 2. We have 3A2. Rivercrest won the league there. Newport finished second in the league. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the 3A2 is Salem. Salem and Mayflower and Atkins, top 3. Quitman 4, and Melbourne 5, which I think that kind of played out most like everything that you thought. The Mayflower Atkins game was a little bit wow, especially with the distance between them. That was a big victory there for Mayflower. Rivercrest over Newport, and Walnut Ridge at 5-2 finishes the conference there at 7-3 overall. They're the 3 seed. Osceola the 4. Harrisburg will be the 5. Hoxie misses the playoff for the second year in a row. No, they actually got the 5 last year. Glenrose finishes undefeated in the 3A4. They win the conference. Cutter, Morningstar, and Magnet Cove and play each other. Aaron, you're in the chat right now. Tell us a little bit about EPC Host Magazine. Is that right? Right now, yeah, I don't think Magazine made it. I think it was Bigelow, unless something's wrong there. What are you looking at?
Could get him on the horn.
Aaron?
Yeah, or somebody. Talk football with us. I
Well,
don't know football like you know football. There's got to be somebody out there that knows it at
oh
least,
yeah, oh yeah.
half as good as you do.
Well, we're going to get Alan Russell on here, and he's going to talk about Conway and Bryant. He was there. We're going to get him in a little bit. What about Prescott? Prescott hosts Atkins in the first round of the tournament. That's a tough draw. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, it's Bigelow. That's right. So let's go. Let's see here. I'm looking at
Prescott played Cedar Point. 40-14 was the score.
So Cutter. Let's look at Cutter here. Cutter played Magnet Cove. Cutter beat Magnet Cove, so they are the 2 in that conference there in the 3A4. The 3A7 Bismarck smack over Prescott, Falk, and Centerpoint. That's your top 5 there. And then 3A8, you got Fordyce, Dumas, McGee. McGee falling to Fordyce. McGee should actually be the 2, except Drew Central's also 4-3. Let's see what Drew Central looks like here. They had a 3-way tie. So did Dumas end up with the 3 because of that?
They beat Dumas 21-7, by the way.
No. Drew Central ends up being the 3 because they beat both McGee and Dumas this year. So they're the 3, and you got McGee the 4 and Dumas the 5. Wow. That's crazy right there. That's something right there, big time. What about Arkadelphia? Arkadelphia won big. They won big tonight. So that was over Malvern 53-21. Is that correct?
It's on here somewhere.
Yep. All right, let's get to 4A. We're talking 4A now. Let's talk about who finished where. Elkins finished number 1 in the conference. Nothing surprised there. They're the favorite. I'm going to tell you, Elkins right now, nobody really talks about them as a possible state champion. They are every bit in the mix, I promise you. Gravette, Prairie Grove, follow Elkins. Gentry falls to Prairie Grove tonight. They fill in that 4th spot. The Huntsville Eagles find their way to the playoffs as they beat the Berryville Bobcats, Green Forest, and Lincoln. What are you pointing at?
Gentry played Gravette.
Yes, that's right.
Oh,
and
okay. You were talking about, yeah. Okay.
Mills wins the conference tonight with a victory over Lone Oak. Heber Springs falls into the 3 spot. Forest City the 4. Actually, Central Arkansas Christian is the 4, and Forest City is the 5. With those victories there. Gosnell, one of the stories of the state, they win the 4A3. Southside falls behind them, Blytheville behind them. They will host the Pottsville Apaches in round one. Highland falls in that the 4 spot, and Pocahontas falls in that 5 spot. Dardanelle, Clinton, Ozark, Pottsville, and Mena. That is your 5 in the 4A4 with those victories. I'm going to tell you right now, Hamburg and Mena, it will be an interesting matchup. Hamburg and Mena will be an interesting matchup, only because Mena is a very well coached football team, very disciplined. They gave Dardanelle a game tonight, 28-14. I'm just telling you, that's going to be a decent game there. Nashville wins the 4A7 by virtue of the big time victory at Arkadelphia in September. They end up winning that conference. Arkadelphia, Bauxite, Fountain Lake, and Malvern round out the 4A7. And the 4A8, you were able to watch Stuttgart take on Hamburg last night, right here on the Arkansas Sports Network. Stuttgart went to Hamburg, won 52-41. Hamburg beat Warren. Warren falls to the 3 spot. That doesn't happen very often. Monticello gets the 4 spot, and Helena gets the 5 spot in that conference. So big time football. It's always fun here at this time of year. Tina Honeycutt says, "Go Elks." Hey, listen, I'm telling you, nobody talks about Elks. They don't talk about Elks enough. Drew Central, they were a surprise. Thought Drew Central was the 2. Are they? I guess they are. They are the 2 out of that 3A8. Let me look here real quick. Yeah, they are. They're the 2. You had 3 tied at 4 and 3, but Drew Central beat McGee and Dumas, so they fall in the 2. I think McGee gets the 3 and Dumas gets the 4. And Lakeside comes in as the 5. They're going to be an interesting team to watch there. Hold on just a second. I'm going to have to get a little water. I got a tickle in my throat.
Here's some scores from the 5A. Arkansas High beats DeQueen 42-21. You got Searcy over Beebe 49-27. You got Maumelle taking a loss to Robinson over at Robinson 42-0. Jacksonville beats Watson Chapel 60-28. You got Pine Bluff beating Whitehall 32-7. Parkview beats Camden Fairview 40-21. What do you think about that game?
Well, Parkview is coming on at the end of the year. That's one thing about them right now. I would not want to see them in the playoffs. And I think the way it worked out, Lakeside fell tonight to Hot Springs. So Hot Springs won the South. And then you got the 2 seed Parkview now, a 3 seed Lakeside, 4 seed Camden Fairview. I'm telling you, 5A South is very, very tough. I mean, your 5 seed tonight, and I know they didn't play and they're not 5 that go in the 5A, but the 5th team out of that conference scored 80 tonight. That you don't see that very often. So that's a big win there for Parkview. That Valonia Greenbrier game was unreal. Unreal. Valonia almost pulled the upset off there, so that's interesting. You want to talk about upsets? Somebody asked about upsets. Brooklyn over Harding Academy. I'm going to tell you right now, that was not on my bingo card tonight. Brooklyn with the big victory over Harding Academy. I'm really surprised there on that one. Is that all of our 5A games there?
Yes, sir.
Let's move to the 6A then.
We can.
All right, in the 6A, we've got Shiloh over Van Buren 51-7. Boy, Van Buren was riding high coming into that Greenwood game, but man, they had just had the benefit of the schedule in a lot of ways. They get the 4 seed out of the 6A West, but man, they've struggled down the stretch here, but they've played Shiloh, Greenwood, Mountain Home. Benton wins 38-21 over Marion. Benton gets the 2 seed. Lake Hamilton over Russellville 61-14. That puts Lake Hamilton in the playoffs. Yeah, you see that over Wynn there? Yeah, I saw that too. That's crazy. Win over Nettleton there. Southside over Siloam Springs. Siloam Springs is an improved team this year. Just can't get over the hump. But look out with Doug Lothridge there. He's got them going in the right direction. El Dorado 62-23 over Sheridan. Jonesboro 56-25 over West Memphis. And Greenwood 42-10 over Mountain Home. We saw earlier, we had the scores flipped. We thought Catholic won early, but obviously they didn't. And Sylvan Hills wins the 6A East and wins the 1 seed there. Let's move on to 7A if we can.
Yeah, we got it right here.
All right, in the 7A, we got Bryant Conway. That was a barn burner there tonight. That was a really close game. Bryant 28-21 over Conway. Bryant the 1, Conway the 2 out of the Central. Central, speaking of Central, they don't make the playoffs, but they win 39-0 in their swan song of the season. Cabot over North Little Rock 41-24. Little Rock Christian. I know that there's been some celebration there on the west side of Little Rock, 55-28 over Pulaski Academy. Fayetteville wins 48-27. They get the 4 seed out of the West. That's going to be an interesting one. They play the 5 seed out of the Central in the first round. The Bentonville Tigers continue to roll 48-31 over the Bentonville West. West falls to the 3. Rogers gets the 2 with a 49-14 victory over Heritage. And Springdale takes on Northside, takes them down 31-7. So that rounds out the big schools. Let's talk about their playoff scenarios now as my nose continues to stop up. I've got a solution for that. Hold on just a second.
We're doing this live, folks.
So I have this weird thing that happens to me
Mhm.
when I
How weird is it?
when I speak. My nose begins to stop up. I don't know why. It's very weird, but it is not like a totally uncommon thing. So I actually had some Vic Sav around here somewhere. Oh, it's right there. Can you grab
Oh,
that for
wow.
me? I'm probably not going to do that on camera just so that I can save people some of the drama there. But
We'll keep the 7A scores
right,
up.
yeah, thank you,
We'll
thank you.
talk more about them.
Yeah,
That's what you're.
Fred Daniels says the Bigelow upset Conway Christian. Yes, yes, sir. Barton gets in due to head-to-head beating Lakeside. Oh, shoot. Oh, man. Man, I tell you what, old Darius Green over there, that guy, I think he's doing something over there. But if Barton gets in, I guess that's tough. And I will say for anybody drawing the 8 in the playoffs, even the 5 seeds are going to be a little bit tough. Yeah, Barton was 3-4 in that league, so if they won head-to-head, a 5-5 team misses the playoffs. Some of these conferences have teams that win 2 games and they make the playoffs. So anyway, so let's look at the 5A, 6A, and 7A, and let's talk about these scenarios here. Let's look at it. 5A Central, Robinson takes it. You got Cersei falling in as the 2 seed, Maumelle as the 3, BB as the 4. Then you've got in the East, Valley View takes the conference over Nettleton. Nettleton falls tonight, but Harding Academy also falls tonight, which they had head-to-head anyway, so it looks like that Nettleton would have won the conference anyway. And Batesville comes in at the 4 seed in that conference. Hot Springs wins the conference. Parkview finishes 2, Lakeside 3. What you got?
Berryville Green Forest, but that's a different thing.
I got you. Lakeside with the 3 and Canton Fairview as the 4. Greenbrier wins the conference in 7A West 10-0 on the season. Morrilton finishes 3rd and Harrison finishes 4th. That's a good top 4 there in the West. In the 6A East, it's Sylvan Hills finishing at the top of the conference. Benton falling in right behind them. El Dorado, Marion, Jonesboro, and Sheridan round out the top 6 there. In the 6A East and in the West, Greenwood continues to roll. Shiloh Christian, in my opinion, Shiloh Christian is the one team that may be able to challenge Greenwood for the state crown in 6A. That's just my opinion. I may be wrong. I've been wrong before.
It's happened.
Van Buren it finishes in the 4 seed. That they beat Southside earlier. Don't pull those scores down just yet. And then Southside finishes in the 5 seed, and Lake Hamilton. And again, what I was talking about, 2 wins in some of these conferences. Um, Lake Hamilton gets 2 wins, and they end up in the playoffs at 3-7 overall. And then in the 7A Central, Bryant, again, I say on the statewide radio show that if Bryant is playing, I am picking them. And at this point, until somebody shows me different, Bryant, I'm going to pick you all the way. So Conway finishes right behind them. Little Rock Christian behind them at 7-3. Good solid season for them. Cabot over Pulaski Academy. I don't think anybody had that one on their bingo card this year.
Aren't you supposed to be unbiased?
What do you mean unbiased? I'm just saying, like when you're talking about who picked what, I mean that nobody picked Cabot over Pulaski Academy, and then they finished in the 5, and then that's Fayetteville and Pulaski Academy in the first round of the playoffs this year. It's gonna be fun. And then North Little Rock they're gonna be the 6. They're gonna play the 3, which is going to be Bentonville West. So North Little Rock will travel to West for the first round there. Bentonville, Rogers West, Fayetteville, Springdale, Harbor are your top 6 in the 7A West. So we're here ready for playoff time, and I don't have playoff brackets in front of me. And to be honest with you, I don't know that I have the mental energy to go through this and tell you who they are. I mean, I could probably decipher it, but it might take us a little bit longer to do that. 1 seed Bismarck hosts Lavaca, 2 seed Smackover hosts 4 seed Hackett. Yeah, that's right. 3 seed Prescott hosts 3 seed Atkins. That's going to be a great game, by the way. Not sure the 4 and the 5 of the 3A7. I'm not either without just going in here and looking at it. Why not? Why not? Let's just take a look. Let's see if I can do it in less than 20 minutes here. In the 2A, you got the first out of the 4. That is Hampton. They take on the 4th out of the 3, which is Mineral Springs. And then you've got the 2nd out of the 1. And this is off the top of my head, folks. I'm just literally doing this. Hector plays Desark in round 1. That's a great matchup. The 1st out of the 3 is Junction City. The 4th out of the 4 is Bearden. That's also an unexpected matchup there. And you see the Cash App on the screen. If you like what you see here and you enjoy this, throw us a Cash App there. Thank you also to Sylvia's Insurance for making this possible. The 1st out of the 2 is EPC. They take the 4th out of the 1, which is Conway Christian. 2nd out of the 3 is Gurdon, and they take on the 3rd out of the 4, which is 3rd out of the 4 is Poen. And then 1st out of the 1, again, this is right off the top of my head. 1st out of the 1 here is Mount Ida, and the 4th out of the 2 is McCrory now because of the issues that they had there. 2nd out of the 4 is 2nd out of the 4 is Carlisle, and the 3rd out of the 3. What are we looking at? Yeah, I see that. Aaron's all over it. He's got it. He's got it for sure. The 2nd out of the 3 is
Of course, that's
or the 3rd out of the 3.
3A.
Spring Hill.
He's talking about.
Falk 1 head-to-head center point, so they would be the 4, which means that's a tough matchup, by the way. 4 Falk going to Mayflower. That's a tough road there. 5 seed center point goes to Salem. That's a long drive to lose. Will you be going live when the bracket comes out? So here's what we're doing. We are going to do a playoff preview, our own playoff preview. It's going to be Wednesday night. And we're going to pick our favorites to win it all. And that could be, the ASN crew. I've got my own thoughts and my own opinions. And Some of these other guys will have their own thoughts and their own opinions. So we're going to go through those.
Go
But,
team.
but you got to be a member. You got to be a member
You
to
gotta
be a
be a
part of that.
member. Oh my goodness. Yes. You can click the join button somewhere down below. Once you have to subscribe to us first, and then it lets you join and become a member. So if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, and then hit the notification bell, hit the drop down menu, and select
And
all.
and that's
So you know when
Wednesday.
we go live. And then if you're a member, you should hit that notification bell. You should have it hit
That's Wednesday.
because that's kind of weird of you not to.
Okay, so I'm going again off the top of my head here. First out of the one in 3A is Mansfield. They get the bye. The third out of the three is Walnut Ridge. The fourth out of the eight. I don't even know. That's a jumble there. What did we talk about? McGee, I believe. Was that McGee that was going to be the fourth? No, that was Dumas that was going to be the fourth out of the eight. So you got the third out of the three, which is Walnut Ridge, taking on the fourth out of the eight, Dumas. You got the first out of the seven, Bismarck, taking on the fifth out of the one, which is Lavaca. The third out of the four is Magnet Cove, taking on the third out of the eight,
Which that game
which
we
is
got a
McGee.
score is 35-22 Magnet Cove
Okay.
wins.
So McGee and Magnet Cove matching up in round one at Magnet Cove. First out of the two is Salem. The fifth out of the seven, as Aaron Weatherford was talking about there, is Center Point. That's a long drive there, and Salem is playing very, very well right now. Second out of the three is gosh, I'm not even looking. Why am I not looking?
I don't know.
Second out of the three is Newport. Dude, I'm serious. I can't believe I'm doing this off the top of my head. I'm gonna look like a fool. The fifth out of the two is Melbourne. So Newport, Melbourne matching up in round round one there. Second out of the four is Cutter Morningstar, correct? Is that right? So
Yeah,
I got one wrong
you
there.
are absolutely correct.
I got one wrong. Paris is in there somewhere. Paris is I believe the third out of the four. I think I said that was Magnet Cove. Let me look here. Or did they get in some wacky three-way tie where Paris fell behind them in the tiebreak? Let's look here.
Paris beats Two River 56.
I think that's what happened there. Paris may have fallen behind it in the tiebreak, so Magnet Cove ends up on top, I guess, because of that's not right. Let me look here. Let me look.
Aaron Weatherford
Oh,
says,
no.
I typed it up, Brad above me.
Let's see here. So Paris is the four out of that conference. That's crazy. Caden Crawford, he's in the chat right now. Caden Crawford of Cross County. Cross County hosting Bigelow. That's a good matchup there for you guys there, Caden. Let's look here. I got to get back into my
We got
mode
Ricky
here.
Anglin says, go Bearcats.
All right, all right. Let's see here. First out of two, fifth out of seven. I did that. Second out of the three, Walnut or Newport. The fifth out of the two, which is Melbourne. The second out of the four is Cutter Morningstar. The fourth out of the three is Harrisburg's the five. Who's the four? Hey, look. Go back. I got to have some sort of reference, right? I mean, I can't do it all, right? 3A3, number four, Osceola. Yeah, that's a heck of a draw there in the first round. You get Osceola, fourth out of the three, yeah, second out of the four. So that means that that Cutter Morningstar hosts Osceola in the first round of the tournament there. Second out of the eight is Drew Central. Surprisingly enough, they get the fourth out of the four, which is the Paris Eagles. First out of the three is Rivercrest. They get a bye. Third out of the one is Boonville. And Boonville gets the fourth out of the two, which is Quitman. Quitman has to travel to Boonville in round one. First out of the four is Glen Rose. They host the fifth out of the three, which is Harrisburg. Third out of the seven is Prescott. Third out of the two is Atkins. It's one of the more intriguing first round matchups. First out of the eight is Fordyce. Fifth out of the four is the four is always the one that gets me, right? The four is fifth out of the four is Jessieville. Jessieville is the fifth out of the four. Um, Second out of the one is Charleston. They take on the fifth out of the eight, which I guess is Barton. Second out of the seven is Smackover. They take the fourth out of the one, which is uh, Hackett. Hackett's the fourth out of the one. Second out of the two is Mayflower. They host the fourth out of the seven, which we talked about before, which is fourth out of the seven is Falk. So there's your matchups there in 3A. I'm going to move on to 4A. Again, I'm literally doing this off the top of my head, so I could get something wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is real close to what it should be. First out of the eight is going to be Stuttgart. Third out of the three is Blytheville. They take on Pottsville. Fourth out of the four. First out of the two is Mills now. They take on the fifth out of the eight. What are we doing? What are you saying?
Because he's talking about that right now.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
at least that's what he was. So.
Okay. Bill Harshaw's in there saying, howdy, fellers. Um,
Howdy, Bill.
Howdy, Bill. Fifth out of the eight in 4A8. Let me go in here and look real quick. I hope somebody's writing this down. Helena is the fifth out of the eight.
Was I supposed to be?
No, you're not. You're supposed to produce. Third out of the seven
Okay.
is Bauxite hosting Ozark. That's a heck of a matchup in round one. And then you got the first out of the one is Elkins. They host the fifth out of the two. And the fifth out of the two is no, it's Forest City, I believe. Forest City will go to Elkins in round one. Second out of the three is Lone Oak. Is that right? No, they're the two. The 4A3 is Blytheville. No, that's not right either. The fourth out of three is Highland. There we go. Get it right. Let's see here.
Fourth out of the four.
Second out of the three. I apologize. That's Southside. They take on the fifth out of the one. And the fifth out of the 4A1 is Huntsville. So Southside will host Huntsville in round one of the playoffs. Second out of the seven is Arkadelphia. They host the fourth out of the three. And the fourth out of the three is Highland. There we go. There's the Highland matchup there. Congratulations, you get Arkadelphia. Second out of the four is, let's see, second out of the four. I'm drawing, let's see, my mind is getting tired here. Clinton Yellow Jackets, by virtue of their victory tonight. Fourth out of the seven. The 4A7 should be, is that Malvern? I believe it is Malvern. So Clinton and Malvern matching up in round one. Is that right?
Yeah, Clay Williams says go Buckaroos, and Tina Honeycutt says Elks.
Actually, no, Fountain Lake. Fountain Lake is the four, and the five is Malvern. First out of the three, the 4A3 is the Gosnell Pirates. And I know that we got some Gosnell folks loving us there. They get the bye. And then you get the third out of the 4A8, which is the Warren Lumberjacks, taking out the fourth out of the one, which is Gentry. Warren and Gentry matching up in round one. First out of the seven is Nashville. They take on the fifth out of the three, which is Pocahontas. The third out of the two is who? Let me go look. 4A2. That's Heber. Heber Springs getting the third out of the two. They take the third out of the 1, which is Prairie Grove. Heber and Prairie Grove, and it looks like Heber will be the home team in that one because they're on top of the bracket. The first out of the 4 is the Dardanelle Sand Lizards. They take on the 5th out of the 7, which is Malvern. That's an interesting matchup right off the bat. That would be not one that you would expect in round 1 of the playoffs, that's for sure. Second out of the 8 is Hamburg, taking on the 5th out of the 4, which is Mina. The second out of the 2 is that is Lone Oak, I believe. It is Lone Oak, and they take on the 4th out of the 8, and the 4th out of the 8 is who is the 4th out of the 8? It is Monticello. That is one heck of a matchup right there. Lone Oak and Monticello in round 1. I'm telling you, Monticello, their record is deceiving. Their record is deceiving. The second out of the 1 is Gravett, and the 4th out of the 2 is. This has got to be great television, right? I
Prairie
mean,
Grove? I don't know.
the 4th out of the 2 is Forest City. So there's your matchup there. Now, did I say Forest City in another matchup? I believe I did. Oh no, it's Central Arkansas Christian because CAC won over Forest City.
What was the score there? Do you know?
Huh? It's 28-26. CAC won. So there's your 4A playoff bracket. Let's look at 5A real quick. We're getting through this pretty quick. Robinson, the 4 out of the South, which is Camden Fairview. That is a heck of a matchup in round 1. The West 2, got your Prairie Grove putting up 82. Offense must have had 800 yards rushing. I mean, that could have been.
Thank you,
The
Carson. Oh, and we
what's
got
up?
Bill as well. A 3-seeded Prescott and Atkins are putting together
That's
two
that's a
very dangerous teams.
that's a great matchup there.
He says that'll be a good one to watch.
Absolutely.
Of course, he's an Atkins fan, so
Right.
kind of makes sense.
So the West 2 is Farmington. And Farmington is going to host the East 3, which is Harding Academy. The South 1 is Hot Springs. They host the Central 4, which is BB. East 2 is Nettleton. They host West 3, which is Morrilton. East 1 is Valley View. They host West 4, and that was Harrison. South 2 is Parkview now, and Parkview will host the Central 3, which is Maumelle. They've already played this year. Parkview beat them 42-7. West 1 is Greenbrier. They take on the East 4, which is Batesville. The Central 2 is Searcy, and they take on the South 3, which is Lakeside. That is a great first round matchup. Unbelievable first round matchup there. All right, that's 5A. We've only got 2 more brackets to go here. I mean, I've done,
Only.
this is 13 minutes that I've done all of these brackets in. I mean, that's pretty good, right?
You are, you're smart.
In football and Jesus,
Yes,
football or
yeah,
Jesus. That's what the 2 things I know.
yeah, because we did that. We had like a little trivia thing we did at one of the
Yeah,
Airbnbs, and you smoked everybody.
I am full of
And I'm
useless
like, it's
knowledge.
from like I mean, it's modern stuff. It's stuff from the 90s, stuff from the 80s, and he's going through, and sometimes he'll just stop answering just so somebody else can get an answer in. I'm like, and he's like, I already know the answer. Give it to somebody else. I was like, what?
Uh, East 1, Sylvan Hills gets a bye. They take on the West 4. West 4 is Van Buren. East 5. Now, I am a little bit on the 5A side of things, especially, I'm sorry, the 6A side of things. On the East, I I don't know exactly how it all worked out, but it looks like Marion. That wouldn't be right. It'd have to be Jonesboro. Jonesboro would be well, let's see. Hold on. Yes. Jonesboro and Van Buren should be matching up. Marion and fell to Jonesboro. Marion should be the 5 out of the East.
And Marion
Oh,
also fell to
that's right.
Benton.
So West 4 is Van Buren. East 5 is Marion. West 2 gets a bye. West 2 is Shiloh. East 3. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe, by the way. Who's
Yes,
Mansfield getting round 2 of the playoffs?
somebody.
Well, you're going to have to be in the playoff preview for that one. West 1 is the Greenwood Bulldogs. They get the bye. Wait, I skipped one there. East 3 is um, El Dorado, and they take on the West 6, which is Lake Hamilton. The Greenwood Bulldogs win the West. No shocker there. East 4 is Jonesboro. They take on the West 5. The West 5 is, you hear my nose? It's stopping up.
Your nose is all over the
That right?
place.
Southside. Southside and Jonesboro match up in round 1. East 2 is the Benton Panthers. They take on the West 3 winner of West 3, East 6. Your West 3 is Mountain Home. Your East 6 is Sheridan. So that is your 6A playoff bracket. I promise we're almost done. And then West 1 in 7A is Bentonville, and it's well, it's been Bentonville for a lot of the years, many years. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Central 4, that is the Cabot Panthers. They take on the West 5. That is that Springdale Harbor, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see here. I believe it is West 5, Springdale Harbor. Yes. So you got Harbor and Cabot matching up in round 1. You got Central 2. Central 2 is Conway. They'll take on either the West 3 or the Central 6. West 3 is the Bentonville West Wolverines. Central 6 is North Little Rock. Central 1 is Bryant. They take on either West 4 or Central 5. West 4 was Fayetteville. Central 5 was Pulaski Academy. And West 2 is the Rogers Mounties. And they'll take on the winner of the Central 3 and the West 6. The Central 3 was the Little Rock Christian Warriors, and the West 6 is the West 6. Well, Harbor actually is 6. Springdale is 5. So Springdale is going to Cabot, and Harbor is going to Christian. I think that's it.
Is that all of them?
I think
we-
that's it.
Did we do it?
I believe we did it.
Yes.
So, guys, thank you for joining in. Appreciate you for being a part of what we're doing here. Again, thank you to Silvius Insurance Group, Jeffrey Hall, agent 501-920-7422. And let me throw a little bit of something in on him. Appreciate him. He's just giving me some information on who he is. He is a graduate from the University of Arkansas in animal sciences. He owns and operates a cow-calf operation in Central Arkansas, worked 16 years for the Arkansas Farm Bureau, where he led the organization's state and national policy agenda. In 2014, he joined the Silvius team. The same year, he created Capital Strategies and Associates, focused on state policy departments for clients. Jeffrey has business in Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Mississippi. He works closely with the State Cattlemen's Association in Arkansas, Mississippi, and Louisiana. Jeffrey and his wife, Kelly, have a 19-year-old daughter, Gwen, and a 17-year-old son, Reese. Sounds like a guy that you want to be involved with, especially if you are in the farm business. So, appreciate him, appreciate you, appreciate everybody for joining us. This is week to week. We'll see what happens next week. If we can do it, I enjoy doing it. So hopefully we'll get a chance to do it again next week and into the playoffs. And again, we appreciate Mr. Hall for joining us with that. But
So how does that preview work?
uh,
The playoff preview. They
so
have to be a
playoff
member
preview, we're
for.
going to pick We're going to pick every matchup. We're going to pick all the way through the playoffs. We're going to pick state champions. You want to be a part of that, right?
I do.
Wednesday night, you want to be a part of that. So, anyway, with that said, I got to go somewhere where I can breathe. I got to go blow my nose. So, anyway, thank you for joining us once again. OTA, 11:58 p.m. We're out. We'll talk to you later.